We got a new setup. I moved. So hopefully you can hear me okay. Hopefully the lighting isn't weird. We'll adjust those things as we go. What's up? I'm Trent Windsor and we're here in search of the perfect shuffle. It's time for another segment of clearing out the archives where I shuffle my music and whichever album pops up, that's the album I review song by song. If a song is more than 50% skippable, if I would skip it more than half the time, I say get rid of it, not worth your time. If a song is less than 50% skippable, if I would listen to it more than half the time, I say it's a worthy addition for your perfect shuffle. Last time we shuffled our music and the album that popped up was Srem by Rae Sremmurd. Rae Sremmurd is the hip-hop duo of Swae Lee and Slim Jxmmi, who are brothers. To give you some context in the time surrounding this album's release, they had really scored a big hit off of their second album with the song Black Beatles, which was all over the radio and it spawned a social media trend as well, the Mannequin Challenge, which I cannot claim to understand the appeal of. So to follow this up, they released Srem 3, which is actually a triple album. The first album of the three is Srem. That's just the Rae Sremmurd album. But the other two albums are solo projects for Slim Jxmmi and Swae Lee, respectively. So could this album live up to its predecessor's glory? Let's find out as I review it song by song. Song number 1 is called Up in My Cocina. It's a dark, spacey beat with a lot of discord. The notes don't really blend very well, the harmonies are really strange. It's jazzy at best. The problem with that is Swae Lee's trying to find a melody on top of that, and it was kind of destined to fail from the start just based on this weird chord progression that's going on. Swae Lee has this iconic falsetto type voice that he sings in. You can recognize him on almost any song he pops up on the radio, and usually that's kind of a big draw for these songs, so him not having a melody to really go on for this one is not great. Also, Swae's lyrics are pretty whack on this one. He'll often just add the syllable to the end of a word to make it rhyme with the previous word, and I guess to keep with like the Latin theme. It's pretty lazy and it seems kind of weird to me. Slim Jxmmi's verse is fine on this song, but he feels more like he's being featured on this song than he does feel like a full contributing member of like a hip-hop duo. So I'd have to say this song is 65% skippable, not the greatest start. Song number 2 is called Close, and it features Travis Scott. It's very cool psychedelic production from 30 Rock, and Mike Will made it. Mike Will made it, helped produce this entire album. He helped produce on, I think, every song, if not almost every song. That's actually probably the strong point of this song, is its really cool production. Of course, Travis Scott fits right in on this song. He loves those spacey psychedelic beats, and he uses his one melody that he knows that he uses for every single song. He uses it for this song too, but his verse is pretty solid. The thing that really kills this song for me is that Swae Lee spells the word close. He says C-L-O-S-E every time he says it in the chorus, in a verse, and it kind of just feels like your parents are trying to talk about something in front of you without you knowing what it is.
You know, it's time for the kids to go to BED. We're getting pretty CLOSE to WINE o'clock. You know what I'm saying?
It's weird, it's off-putting, and it definitely makes the rhythm and the flow of the song very clunky. I do really enjoy Slim Jxmmi's verse on this song. He's very energetic and very passionate in his delivery, but it doesn't quite compensate for the strange and clunky chorus. So I'd have to say this one is 55% skippable. Song number 3 is called Bedtime Stories, and it features The Weeknd. The Weeknd lays down a solid feature. He's just as good as always. Good job, man. The thing about this song is you put Swae Lee's verse right after The Weeknd's verse, and you can really tell just how hard Swae Lee is leaning on auto-tune to sound good. The Weeknd's voice is pretty natural and not super tampered with, whereas Swae Lee's starts to feel like a total robot voice. Once again, the production is really nice on this song. The percussion goes pretty hard. It just sucks when Rae Sremmurd is the worst part of the song when it's supposed to be their song. I have to say this one is also 65% skippable. Song number 4 is called Perplexing Pegasus. This is another ornate, spacey beat, very good, very enjoyable. Here everything seems to go right. You've got a solid chorus from Sway Lee, you've got a really confident, energetic, great verse from Slim Jimmy, and no features to lean on. This is one where everything kind of locks into place, and this seems to be like the template for the potential that Rae Sremmurd really has. So I'd say this song is 30% skippable, really decent. Song number 5 is called Buckets, featuring Future. Just right off the bat, the biggest problem I have with this song is that the beat is made up of out-of-tune piano samples. Someone was like,
the in-tune piano just isn't good enough. We gotta tweak it out of tune a little bit. We gotta make it sound like a doll is playing a piano in a horror movie. That would make this beat so cool.
And they were totally wrong. It's really awful, and it hurts my ears, and it makes me want to skip this song. Then you get a phoned-in chorus, which is just the phrase, "F it, I'm ballin'," over and over again. Slim Jimmy really phoned his part in. Future's feature is just fine. This song I would say is 80% skippable. Song number 6 is called, quote, 42, end quote. This is a really confusing song for me. I can't decide if it's hype or just super lame. I feel like every other time I listen to it, I get a different vibe from it. One thing I can say is I do like Slim Jimmy's verse. Once again, he's energetic, confident, and really comes through with a solid verse. Something that I can't say about Sway Lee every time. This dude needs to pull out from his brother's shadow. Sway Lee is the one that I really can't decide on. He's more rapping than he is singing, which is not the usual for him. He usually has some sort of melodic quality to his verses, so it's kind of strange, and I'm not exactly sure how to feel about it. I do love that in the music video we have one of the most unenthusiastic cameos ever from none other than Drake. This is a song that I'm really conflicted on, but I don't want to delete it. I think that it's decent enough to keep around. I'll say it's 45% skippable. Song number 7 is called Power Glide, and it features Juicy J. You got a string sample on this beat. It sounds very familiar to Remember the Name by Fort Minor, which is like every white kid's introduction to rap in middle school. Or like, why is it on every single sports montage? Anyways, that is a different story. This is Sway Lee's best hook on the whole album. His singing is really nice on it, and it really is a melody that hits just right. I would also say this is Slim Jimmy's best verse on the album. So both members of Rae Sremmurd coming out swinging. The only thing I will say is that there's one too many verses, because we get a Sway Lee verse, a chorus, and then another Sway Lee verse. And then we go into Slim Jimmy's verse, and then we go into Juicy J's verse. We could have just had 3 verses. Everybody could have taken one, you know? Speaking of Juicy J, his verse is actually the weakest on the song, so it's a victory for Rae Sremmurd. Not to say that Juicy J's verse is weak, it's just the weakest of the 3. This is a good song. Solid pop rap song. I would say it's 30% skippable. Song number 8 is called Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It serves as a sequel to their acclaimed Black Beatles. It heavily features a solo guitar, and honestly, it gets pretty boring. Even in his verse, Slim Jimmy says he has 2 girls in his bed, and they're bored. Why would he include that? I do not know. That is not a flex. I actually really like the beat on this song. I think it's really unique, and I would love to hear somebody else rap over it, but in these sets of circumstances, I would say this song is 60% skippable. And song number 9, final song on the album, is called Teed Up. It's a pretty generic Metro Boomin beat, and then it's paired with some pretty generic verses, just 2 sets of generic blah. Slim Jimmy, once again, has the only standout part in the song. Underrated as a rapper. Honestly, I listened to this song a couple times. Every time I listened to it, started yawning. Not great. I would say it's 70% skippable. Mathematically, adding everything up, this album as a whole is 56% skippable. Unfortunately, I catch this vibe that this album is kind of the end of a dynamic duo. You know, they have their own solo projects attached. Even the album cover sees them being literally torn apart. When one is on, the other one seems to be off, and vice versa. They just have very few moments on this album where everything clicks and they work together well. Alright, let's shuffle our music, see which album I'll be reviewing next. Alright, we're just going to go into our music library here, go into albums, and hit shuffle. Alright, looks like the next album we'll be reviewing is Hard to Imagine the Neighborhood Ever Changing by The Neighborhood. If you like what I'm doing here, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about Rae Sremmurd, let me know what you think about Shrem 3. I believe that all musical opinions are valid, and I'd love to hear yours. Let me know if there's an album you'd like to see me review. I do one request a month. Check the links below for music videos from this album, as well as links to my playlists for Best of 2019 and Best of 2020, which is a playlist that I'm updating constantly. I'm Trent Windsor, and this is The Perfect Shuffle. I don't think I was able to listen to this song all the way through at all when I was listening to this album because it was just that bad of a beat.